Melting point is the point at which materials changes from a solid to a liquid state. The temperature at which solid changes its state to liquid at atmospheric pressure is called the melting point of that liquid. The point at which both liquid and solid phase exists at equilibrium. Melting point range. The melting point range is the difference between the temperature at which begins to melt, T1, and the temperature at which the sample is completely melted, T2. Melting point range equals T2 T1. The capillary tube melting point, also known as the complete melting point or clear point, is the temperature at which fat heated at a given rate becomes completely clear and liquid in a one-end closed capillary. Melting point and compound forces of attraction. A compound's melting point is determined by the force of attraction between molecules and symmetry. Higher melting points result from stronger intermolecular interactions. Ionic compounds usually have high melting points because the ion-ion interaction of the electrostatic forces is much stronger. We measure the melting point to 1. Get an indication of the purity of the crystalline compound. Pure organic compounds usually have a sharp melting point and melt within a range of about 0.5 to 1 degree centigrade, while impure substances have no sharp melting points, melts over a range of several degrees. 2. Help in identification of organic compounds. Sodium chloride, NaCl, has melting point of 801 degrees centigrade. Glacial acetic acid, CH3COOH, has a MP of 16.6 degrees centigrade. Practical work. Determination of salicylic acid melting point for 2 samples, pure and impure. The melting point range of pure salicylic acid is 159 to 162 degrees centigrade. Aim of experiment. Practically identification of an unknown 2 samples of pure and impure salicylic acid powder, powder A and B, using its melting point. The pure powder will be melted at the reference range. Procedure. Setting of melting point apparatus. Prepare sufficient amount of pure salicylic acid powder and impure powder. The powder must be dry, homogeneous, and milled to fine particles. Place the substance in a dry capillary tube, after sealing of one end, of 1 mm internal diameter, forming a column about 3 mm high. Put the capillary tube in the opening of the apparatus. Procedure. Heat the melting point apparatus to a temperature of 5 to 10 degrees centigrade below the expected temperature of melting, and adjust the heating. Watch from the lens of apparatus and record the temperature at which the powder start to melt. Record the temperature at which the powder will be completely melted. Determination of which powder is the pure one with justification. Thanks.